Buried is an interactive story. The plot will change based on the choices you make. Your story is broken into 5 chapters. Play straight through or at your own pace. There's no waiting and no pauses. Enjoy and choose wisely. Hello, my name is Rekutsko, and welcome to Buried. I really hope you guys are going to enjoy, sit back and relax, maybe possibly not relax, because this is supposed to be a horror story. So, I hope you guys are able to have some fun with me along on this journey. And we're going to go ahead and just get right into it. Oh man, it already looks amazing. I'm so excited to do this, you have no idea. It's going to be great. I open my eyes and the first thing I want to do is scream. I'm flat on my back and everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night sky, almost beautiful. Except for the fact that this means that I've been out cold for at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember what, but something happened and... my head. My God, my head hurts. And the ringing in my ears? Was there an accident? An explosion, I think. I remember Dennis screaming, but after that, I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my hard hat has been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not here. Feels strange to go anywhere without my hard hat, but I've got to find the other members of the crew. They could be in danger. Now we've got our first decision here right off the bat. Right as the story is opening up, we've immediately fallen into a decision. And from what I believe and what should be the most logical choice, yes, we need to search for the crew, but we're also within a zone that could possibly be very dangerous to us. And it could come in handy for the future. So I'm going to go ahead and search for the hard hat, because I feel like that might be a little bit more of a necessity right now. My protection so that I can go and search for the crew adequately. I know it sounds weird, but it's the only logical conclusion that I have come to. I get up on shaking legs and look around for a moment. A few nearby trees look to have been splintered and broken at the base recently. They certainly weren't like this earlier. Searching for the hard hat feels normal. It makes me feel like maybe there isn't something wrong here. See it behind a fallen log, about 10 feet away from me. How is it thrown so far as beyond me? Driven by nothing more than a habit, I walk over to it, pick it up, place it on my head. Next, I walk over to the center of the logging site and don't like what I see. Great, what are we going to be looking at here? Oh jeez, everything's freaking ruined. The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated right in the center. I don't know where to start. The one load that we had managed to stack on a truck for the day is overturned, the trailer bent and the logs hanging off the back. Where the hell is everyone? My head is killing me in this ringing in my ears. I can't hear anything. Not birds, not my footsteps, nothing. It makes me wonder if I hit my head after my hard hat flew off. I run through a quick mental checklist to make sure my brain is still working. Oh yeah, because if it wasn't working, we totally wouldn't be standing here. My name is Roger Hastings. I'm 41 years old. The year is 2017. I own a small logging company and we've been logging the strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. Well, that's a relief, but it also makes me fearful because something is certainly not right here. I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what has happened. Just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. Look at the debris or look at the truck. Well, the truck would probably be the most logical decision here, because obviously there's gonna be debris with what the truck is, so we should probably take a look at the truck. The truck. The hitch is completely broken, like it was blown off in an explosion or a really bad accident. Had there been an explosion, all the fuel on the side would have been started a fire, but there's no charring, no burning. Nothing. I walked through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he had been moving slowly. He had only taken down 4 trees today. His metal lunchbox is open, an indicator that he had been taking an early break. But he's not here. No one is here. Where the hell is everyone? I could try to make a call on my cell phone, but its battery is already running really low. Not that it matters. The reception is crap out here. Well, if the reception is crap, then there's no use in wasting your battery if it could come in use later. So obviously we should yell out. Hey! Guys! Where is everyone? Tony! Dennis! Frank? Joe? But their names fall flat among the wreckage. I get nothing back other than scaring a few birds overhead. Might as well start walking, try to find some answers. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods. Down the gravel road we used to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Maybe I can catch up to them. But with my truck overturned on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. My God, I can't even remember what I was doing before I waking up on my back. Wait, what's that? Underneath the bulldozer. Oh my God. It's a lake. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable, like it might roll some more. Might not be safe to get close, but at the same time, I can't just leave him there. Oh, jeez. I probably should play it safe since I've already been playing it safe so far. If we happen to find anybody else in the future, we can come to a very deductive reasoning as to who it would be. So I'm gonna go ahead and stay back, because I'm a little bit too afraid of what might happen if I go up close. It might not be a good thing. Alright, stay back. There's no use putting myself at risk. That thing could crumble again. It's pretty clear that he didn't survive. Damn, he had 2 kids too. Both sons. In my shock, I stumble back, suddenly tripping over a stray log behind me. The hard hat that I'm wearing collides with it as I fall, doing its job. But what's more startling is the realization that Tony is dead. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, and Joe. I have to find out what happened here. Oh, jeez. As I walk through the stacks of logs from the last week or 2 of working, everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears, it's terrible. It keeps happening every few seconds. It sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears, or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy, and there's a smell, like the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it. I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing, and it's dead quiet out here. There doesn't seem to be a breeze to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like hell. My head was hurting so bad before that I never even noticed the pain in my knee. I must have heard it during the... well, during the what? Accident? Or... wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting on the ground, motionless about 30 feet away. Well, yelling out probably isn't going to do us very good. We should just walk up. He's just sitting there, not moving. I walk up slowly next to him. Dennis? Hey man, can you hear me? I tap him on the shoulder. He looks up at me from the ground, clearly coming out of a daze. Yeah, Roger, I hear you, he says. Dennis is built like a wrestler, and he has a tough personality to match, but in this moment, he looks disoriented, and even a little anxious. Though I'm glad to see him, the fear on his usually confident face is alarming. What the hell happened? What's going on? He asks. Oh, jeez. Don't know, the crew is missing an explosion, I think. Well, it's not very good to just kind of spout off what you're thinking, so obviously, let's just say what we do know. We do know that the crew is missing because I could not find them anywhere near the wreckage. Missing? Dennis says. Where do you think they went? I'm not sure, I say, but it has me pretty freaked out. Something's not right here. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around the woods, as if he's just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned. The dozers too, I say, shifting my hard hat and whipping my forehead. You okay? I ask him. Yeah, just shaken up. Me too. This might be the most intimate conversation Dennis and I have ever had. While he and I have always been on good terms, we've never been particularly close. I've always respected him, though. Sure, he's come to work a few times looking like he's been in a bar fight the night before, but I've always seen him do the enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he played with Tony's kids while they waited for their dad to finish up his shift. It's then that it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with the news of Tony's death right now. Not before we know what's going on, but he has a right to know. He has every right to know. If Tony was his best friend, if I were in Dennis's position, I would want to know. I wouldn't want to be kept in the dark. Because that's just not right. Even with the severity of the situation that we're going through right now, we should at least be truthful and honest, even if it's brutally honest, in our decision making here. If every choice is going to determine the outcome of this story, we really need to pick as precise as possible. You were upfront with Dennis about Tony. Dennis's eyes fixate on me, startled. He was crushed under the dozer, I say. Dennis pauses for a moment, like he's trying to understand what I said. His eyes narrow and his bottom lip quivers. Shit, he says, and I can tell that he's fighting back tears. He and Tony had been tight, almost like brothers. Hey, he adds quickly, as if trying to escape the reality of Tony's death. Did you see that light? No, I say. What did you see? I don't even know, Roger, he says. It was like this flare of white light. It came right up from the ground, like an explosion. So there was an explosion, I say. Maybe it was some equipment, or... This was no equipment, Dennis interrupts, agitated. This huge ball of light came right out of the damn ground. Well, he already told us what it looks like, so where the hell did it go? It just shot up into the sky until it was out of sight. When? I'm not sure, he answers. But I had finished about 10 trees for the day, and was about to top that one. That's when it happened. You were almost done with 10 trees? Yeah, he says, looking at the ground. You know, I wouldn't want to take a lunch break until I was done. And that's when the light blew up. Why? You don't believe me? Well, he obviously didn't finish 10 trees because we saw that he did 4 trees. So he's trying to cover his ass there. But I'm not so sure about the light. What would have happened with the light? You know, making enemies is probably not the best thing to do right now, and if we say that he's exaggerating, he's not going to be on our side for very long. I have a feeling that he's going to get very offended. So let's just go ahead and say that we believe him. He believed Dennis's story. He saw what he saw, I think to myself. He has no reason to lie about this. My God, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, he says. But if I'm being honest, it scared me pretty bad. And if it's all the same to you, I'd like to get the hell out of here. We both stand up and start heading towards the road. It wasn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. His right side is coated in blood, the red seeping through his blue work shirt. There are splatters of it here and there, but also a very large red splotch that makes me worry. Well, obviously he got the injury from whatever kind of explosion that he got, so I'm kind of curious as to see whether he's in pain or if he even notices that he's been wounded so bad. I've been better. I don't know how much longer I can stay on my feet, he says. What happened? I asked. I'm not sure, Dennis replies. I must have gotten thrown or hurt somehow from that light. It's then I notice that the strange ringing noise is still filling the air. Hey, I say, stopping. Do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while? Dennis looks scared when I ask him this question, and he just nods. I thought it was just me, he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's been looking for some reassurance. Even though I'm his boss, there's something very unnerving about this. We've been brutally honest this whole time. And while I would love to try and reassure him, I believe that he is old enough to understand what kind of situation we're in. And while I should probably be more of the leader here, I think that we can both understand that we're both pretty freaked out. I'm sure I sound scared, but I don't really care. I looked at Dennis to see that my confusion and fear seeped into him. And is that disappointment in his expression as well? I think so. It's as he expects me to be stronger, to assure him that we're fine with nothing out of the ordinary happening. We both start moving forward. Don't say another word. Did you try to call Frank? Dennis asks. I know he has a cell on him today. Not yet. Luckily, I still have some battery left. Pull out my cell and call Frank. Happy I didn't make that call to Dennis earlier. It rings, but he doesn't pick up. But then I hear his phone go off, behind a stack of logs. Dennis and I give each other another look. As the phone goes to voicemail, I hang up. We walk behind the logs to find Frank's phone on the ground, abandoned. We look for Frank, but find nothing. Not a single trace. And then I notice something really odd. A 10-foot wide hole in the ground, right near where the phone was. But there's no stray piles of removed dirt or rocks. It's clean, smoothly dug, cutting into the earth, wide, but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted, no shovels or diggers used. Dennis walks over to it. This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw that light come from the ground, he muses to himself. I say nothing. My head is spinning, but I don't know what to think. We need to get out of here, Dennis mutters. At that moment, the ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on. We might not be safe here, but that ringing sound could be a clue as to where the rest of the crew went. I don't know. We obviously should go looking for the crew because we're still missing 2 more members. So it would probably be a good idea to just go and do that. As much as I would want to escape from the situation as fast as possible, that's not going to help us any. We decided to check out the sound. Something's not right, I say. And there's a mechanical noise like that. You think someone's out there? He asks. Maybe. I think we should at least check it out. They might be able to help. Yeah, you go right ahead, he says with a grin. I'll be right here waiting for you. Better hurry, though. Dennis doesn't look like he's in the best shape to be trouncing around the forest, but we need some answers right away, too. Aw, jeez. You know what? Dennis probably isn't going to be a whole lot of help in this situation. As much as I would love to bring Dennis with me, I think that leaving Dennis here would probably be the best decision, because he's going to be no use to me if he's just... It's bad to split up, though. I'm going to go with the only thing that I can think of here, and it may sound a bit weird, but it could happen. I think if we ended up bringing Dennis along, we're probably going to be slowed down, but we might also be able to find someone that's going to be able to help him with his wound, which he needs to be treated right away. I'm just going to bring him with me, just in case. You decided to bring Dennis along. No, you're coming with me. I bend over and hoist him up against my shoulder. He resists just barely and then gives in. He's looking like he's terrified of me now, making a moan in his throat. We start moving through the woods quickly. We have no idea where the rest of the crew is. I worry they could be in danger. Every tree out here looks exactly the same. I grew up in the country and could find my way around the forest without much of a problem, but I'm feeling dizzy. I'm leaning against a tree when I see something that has no business being out here. Our logging crew has been out there for 3 weeks, and I've never seen it before. Okay. Whoa, okay. Random hobbit hole. It's a small building, sort of like a mixture of a shack and a bunker. It looks to be made of concrete, but moss, weeds, and plain old erosion also make it look sort of mystical. Like a hobbit hole. It looks like something out of the demented version of a medieval fantasy movie. What the hell is this? Dennis asks. Why would there be an old power station all the way out in the middle of the woods. No idea. You purchased this land, right, boss? Dennis asks. Didn't you survey it? I certainly did, I say, getting a little defensive, but this wasn't here. Do you think the others maybe went in there? He asks nervously. Why would they do that? I ask. I don't know, but they aren't out here. If they aren't inside, they're probably dead. Like Tony. He looks at the ground as he says this. I want to go inside, not just to find my crew, but also to appease my curiosity. That ringing noise is coming from inside. But something about this place seems incredibly strange, especially located all by itself out here. Simply does not belong. I wonder, do we just knock or go in? Dennis asks. I can tell that he's trying to make a joke, but it falls flat. I'm starting to think his humor is a defense mechanism for his fear. Which is fine. If he's scared, then that's fine. He should have some sort of thing to make him feel at least a little bit better. Because clearly we're not within the right situation to be trying to comfort other people as well. We both look ahead, take a moment to realize what we are about to do, start forward. We get no more than 3 feet closer when Dennis wobbles. I reach out quickly, straining my injured knee. Oh, jeez. I barely make it in time, grabbing him under his arms and keeping him from hitting the ground. I'm okay, he said. Just, can you help me walk for a little while? Just help me inside, please. I can't deny him his request. I've never seen him this weak, and it's a little uncomfortable to see. It makes me glad I decided to keep him with me. That's good. I help Dennis into the weird little building. The front door opens easily, even though there's clearly a lock on it. Maybe the lock was supposed to keep someone in. It's hard to tell. I still hear that ringing noise. It's definitely coming from in there. Stretching out from in front of me is a small interior to match the outside. The building is totally empty. There's a concrete floor and dingy, featureless walls. There are no windows, giving the place an even more isolated feel. Still, we hear that ringing noise coming from somewhere in here. It's louder now, more prominent. The interior seems confined at first, but a small set of concrete steps leads to about 5 feet down, revealing the corridor. Oh, jeez. What is this, like a bunker or something? Like a fallout shelter? It's a massive corridor. In fact, like I'm in some sort of building underground. It seems to go on forever. This corridor is mostly dark, with emergency lights every 10 feet or so. I assume we're now underground because this corridor extends far beyond the walls of the building we entered. I realize that someone might not appreciate finding us here. Well, if we're in a corridor, there's really no way for us to know. Like, there's no other walkways through here, yes? We're literally in a long corridor. So tiptoeing quietly probably isn't going to matter very much. I'm eager to figure out what's going on here. Our footsteps echo loudly in the dust and dirt. Dennis leans on me for support. If there is anyone here, it's not like we're trying to be quiet and stealthy with the intention of sneaking up on them. If anyone is listening, they definitely know we're here now. As I carry Dennis to the far end of the otherwise featureless place, I see a flight of concrete stairs leading downward. I have to set Dennis down on the floor. His weight is killing me. Dennis, are you okay? Stop worrying, man, he says. I'll be okay. I just need a minute to rest. But looking at him, I'm not so sure. I can still hear the ringing noise every so often, coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead at the concrete stairs, pointing towards them so that Dennis sees them. Can you make it down those stairs, I ask. He stands up slowly and is visibly making an effort not to fall back down. Yeah, he says, sounds a little irritated. He starts for the stairs without me, and I have no choice but to follow. We approach the stairs, and just by looking at him, I get the sense that we're crossing some sort of line here. There very well may be no going back. We have to press on, though. We have to find the crew members. Oh, jeez. As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. That damned ringing noise is somewhere down below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairs take a slight turn. I can feel the temperature drop. Dennis makes it a few steps down before he is leaning on the wall, his breathing like he's just finished a marathon. As much as I want to give him a break, we need to keep up the pace. Suppose he's no use if he's going to end up passing out on us. That's just going to slow us down more. Let's take a break, I say, putting my hand towards his shoulder to steady him. Dennis lets out a sigh. Thanks. I don't feel too great, boss. As we both squat down on a stair, my mind seems to lock in the unknown fate of the rest of my crew. Frank is married, and I met his wife a few times. A nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a bit when I realize I might never again get to hear him belting out the classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe. Well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats, so he's been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. Maybe I can still find them, and still get to hear Frank singing in his deep baritone voice after too many drinks. After a few moments, Dennis says, "Alright, let's keep going." We both stand up, leaning on each other. I have to make Dennis stay behind me as I stick my foot out in search of the next step. I can't help feeling like a child, and as a very powerful fear seizes me, I'm expecting a monster to reach out of the darkness, slicing into my throat. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs, closer to that ringing noise now. The door sits securely on the wall, and looks just out of place as to how I feel. A sliver of light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door looks like it has a panel, with lots of labels and lights. Small embossed print above the panel says, Level 1 Entrance Gate, Transport Sector, and there's a button with no label. We probably shouldn't just be going and pressing buttons willy-nilly. Let's inspect the panel. We got a bit of time. The panel looks like a diagnostic for an alert system of some kind, each label meant to communicate some status. Lockdown engaged. Experiment in progress. Shutdown engaged. Those all appear to be off, but one of the phrases is slowly blinking red light next to him. An empowered light of this whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the hell? I slowly push the door open when Dennis suddenly steps in front of me, taking the lead. Let's go, he says. I want to find out what the hell this place is. As Dennis walks through, that ringing or beeping or whatever, it gets a little louder. The door closes behind us with a click. Can't help but notice a wobble in Dennis's step as he lets out a grunt. You sure you're healthy enough to keep going? I ask. Doesn't matter. I don't want to be in the woods right now. He seems scared. Something I've never seen before. Angry, yes. Upset, yes. But Dennis is never scared. What's so dangerous? I don't know, he says. I don't think there's anything there to hurt us. But that doesn't mean it's safe. There's just something wrong. It started with that flash of light. It's like it breathed life into the woods. And whatever life it breathed, I don't think anything was good. I didn't say anything because it sounds crazy. I've been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise. It had become just background noise. We take a few more steps and I can now see where we are. It makes no sense. Yet another thing that simply seems out of place. The shapes and muted colors of metal are easy to identify, but it just doesn't belong here. End of chapter 1. Oh man. This is going to be an insane freaking game. I know that. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be introduced here. And from what I'm kind of thinking, it's going to be almost kind of sort of along the lines of what we were dealing with. What we were kind of dealing with before, at least, in the last game that we just played, My Last Friend, as far as, like, something is down here, because it said that there's an abnormal entity breach. So, it kind of sounds like, an SCP thing, because when I think of entity, I think of the secure, contain and protect thing, and if you guys have never heard of that, it's a website that you can go to, and I'll find a website and I'll put it down below. I don't know if it has anything to do with this, but it does sound extremely interesting. So either way, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. It's definitely gone on for long enough. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do each I don't know if I'm gonna do each episode by chapter. It would probably be the best idea to do it this way, but you know, let me know down in the comments below if you are going to enjoy this or if you aren't. Let me know down in the comments below if you are enjoying this so far. I'm sorry that my voice started to give out on me a little bit earlier. It's starting to do that again now. Hopefully my voice will be able to stay with me and stick with me through the next one. But yeah, definitely let me know if you guys are enjoying this so far, and we're gonna keep on going with it. For those of you that aren't subscribed, go ahead and click that little icon on my face over there to subscribe to the channel in order to get the content faster to you, if you would like to, of course. The other videos after the side there are going to lead you to some other content, and you know, from there we're gonna see exactly what we're gonna be getting ourselves into in the next chapter. So hope you're ready for it, because I'm sure it's going to be pretty crazy. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.